So today for a change, I decided to do Reddit stories. I know these are very popular and they can range from various topics and various communities. So I decided to start this first episode off with something positive. So these are all Reddit stories that are somewhat wholesome and mostly positive. As the series continues on, I'll go forward more with like different topics. Probably something weird or scary or something that might interest you. So make sure to leave what you guys would like to see in the comments. So this is a short story from r/stories from user inner/ad995. The title is A Positive Story About My Boyfriend. I see so much negativity on here, so I want to share a positive story for a change. I, 22 female, love my boyfriend, 20M. So much we've been dating for 2 years now. I've met him at work. I'm a server at the restaurant, and my boyfriend and his friend were regulars. I almost always got their table. One time, after they left, I found a note. It said, "My name's my boyfriend's name. I'm the one in the blue shirt. You seem like a really thoughtful person and I'd like to get to know better. If you feel the same, here's my number." His phone number. If you don't, I apologize and please disregard this. The note was very sweet and he seemed like a very nice person from our limited interactions, so I messaged him when I got off work. We messaged back and forth for a couple of weeks before going out on our first date. Dating him has been amazing. I met his family and he's met mine. My parents adore him. He's so tall compared to me. For reference, I'm 5'4" and he's 6'2". He's such a kind person and I'd even say I'm madly in love. We're talking about moving in together and I get so excited about that thought. I'm probably rambling, but I love him so much. He's always complimenting me and he says, "I love you," every day. And I feel like the luckiest girl in the world. This story is by I Am Sakaje. Growing up, I was constantly told I would never amount to anything. My family didn't believe in me, some even laughed at my dreams. When I was young, inexperienced, and didn't know any better. So I took advice that I thought was meant to help me, settling for a low education and low paying job. My mom, who I thought was my biggest supporter, told me I should stop dreaming about something better. She said I would never make it higher and should just accept the modest future I had. I listened to her then, and I let the doubt consume me. I didn't finish high school back then, and for years I struggled, stuck in a cycle of mediocrity, feeling like a failure. But then something changed. It happened when I moved out, away from the constant negativity. For the first time ever, I had room to breathe and think about what I actually wanted for once. I decided to take up life seriously. No more settling, no more listening to people who said I couldn't do it. I started working on myself piece by piece and bit by bit. I picked up where I had left off my education, fueled by determination to prove everyone wrong, especially myself. Today I am happy to announce I'm just 5 months away from finishing high school. After that, my sights are set even higher. I plan to study economics at university. It hasn't been easy for me, but every single day I get closer to proving that I am more than my limits. It hasn't been easy, but every day I get closer to proving that I am more than the limits that others tried to put on me. To anyone out there feeling like they'll never break free, remember, you don't have to live the life others have chosen for you. The only person who can define your future is you. This is only the beginning for me, but I already know one thing for sure. I'm gonna make it. The second story is from r/random acts of kindness. Sadly, the user is deleted, but nonetheless, I'll still continue with the story. What's the most wholesome thing a stranger has ever done for you is the name of this story. The story goes as, was thinking about this the other day, so I'd figured I shared my story sometimes. The smallest acts of kindness from strangers really make your day. A few months ago, I was in the middle of uni assignments, piling up late nights, feeling drained. One evening after the uni, I missed the last bus headed to home. A guy, probably in his late 20s, sat next to me. After a bit, he asked me, "Bro, you good? You look tired." I nodded, saying it's been one of those days. He pulled out a packet of biscuits, handed it to me, and said, "Take them, bro. You probably need something to eat." While we chatted about uni, life, and places to eat, then, after all that, before he left, he said, "Hang in there, man. It gets better." He reached out to give me a fist bump and walked off. I never saw him again, but that small act stuck with me. It was simple, but it reminded me how strangers can make a difference. So yeah, curious, what's the kindest thing a stranger has done for you? Sometimes the smallest things really do make a difference when you need it the most. The next story is actually from the same subreddit, and it's shared from one of the members of the community called Dana CJ, and it goes as follows. Over 2 decades ago, I was a college student. I had a couple of side jobs, cleaning for elderly people, working at a pub, and volunteering a side gig. One day, I first went to my classes, then I went to go cleaning, and after that I did a long shift at the pub. I had been invited to a cocktail party, and I figured, why not? What harm could there be in a little unwinding after a very long, hard day? So I went there, said my hellos, and gladly accepted one tasty cocktail. I was pretty tired after my day, so it seemed wise to me to leave it at that single alcoholic beverage. Only soda and juice onward, is what I thought. I did help myself to a big bowl of watermelon. Afterwards, found out the watermelon has been soaked in vodka for multiple days. At the time, I didn't know. The last thing I remember is sitting at the bus stop waiting for a cab to take me home safely. I woke up the next morning and on a piece of cardboard underneath a warm, smelly coat. After some time had passed, a homeless guy came to me with a fresh orange juice and some bread. He told me how he saw me sitting slumped over at the bus stop, and that right at that time 3 guys had approached He told me how he had seen me slumped over sitting at the bus stop, and at that time 3 guys had approached and were all over me. His guts told him that they were up to no good, and that I wouldn't be able to fend for myself. So he made up his mind to get me out of danger and bring me to his safe spot. We talked a bit, and it turned out we had a mutual acquaintance, a pastor at my volunteering gig. I was, and I still am, so thankful and grateful for all that he did for me that night. I asked him if I could do something for him, besides thanking him, obviously, for saving me from harm. At first he said no, and that he just did a decent thing. After some consideration, he asked me to talk to our mutual acquaintance. The only request he had for me was to ask the pastor to be willing to help a friend of his. I promised I would, and I thanked him again. And then he said it was time for me to go home. Of course, I kept my promise. I never saw Thomas again, but I will never forget him. This story comes from Roman 9991, and it goes as follows. When I was working one of my first jobs in LA, I came out thinking I'd be able to use the bus pass. The bus driver did not allow it though, because it was past midnight and my monthly bus pass was only for the previous month. I came off the bus knowing that I'd have to walk 40 blocks until I got home. While walking, a homeless man asked me for money. I told him that if I had money, I would have gotten on the bus that I had gotten off from. He reached in his pockets and gave me the only $2 he had. I told him I couldn't take it. He said I'd be doing him a favor because he was going to use the money for booze, and that there was another bus coming soon. I told him I would take it, but I'd bring it back to him the following day. I took the bus, and the following day I did not find him. I kept looking every time I go to work, but I never saw him again. I thank him for helping a stranger, and I pray he's okay. And the last story for today comes from the user called idea/aver, and it goes as follows. On Christmas Day 2020, I had to take my little dog to the emergency vet in town 45 minutes away from me. I was going through a divorce at the time. I had 2 kiddos who loved this little dog, and I cannot go through one more difficult thing on my back. One of them had opened the back door to where my brother, who was visiting for Christmas, had his German Shepherd. My little dog jumped right at the big dog's face. She caught him with her jaws around his ribs and held him to the ground. Her teeth punctured his ribs, and we can hear air gasping through the puncture. Neither dog had ever done anything like that before. They had gotten along perfectly for 2 days before that. I arrived at the vet nearly hysterical after begging my dog to live for 45 miles. The vets there were so great. They took care of him right away and they let me go with them as well. I barely gave the front desk my info. By the time I had talked to the front desk hours later, I was looking at a bill that was over $3,000. But to my surprise, it had been paid anonymously by someone who was in the front office when I had arrived. I cannot describe the gratitude I felt. It was so overwhelming. All I can do was cry. I think about this kind stranger every day. My dog fully recovered thanks to them and is laying right next to me right now. I will never forget it. I love them. I wish that there was a way to tell them how much of a difference they made for me and my kids. But the vet's office wouldn't give me any info. so I had to settle for asking them to convey my gratitude to whoever this amazing person was. I hope the same kindness finds them one day if they ever need it.